Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone and to all. Tran, what's up, man? Let's do some, ready to do some bowl game prep?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We only got one more game for what, 7 months, 8 months after this. So
I
let's
know,
do it.
I know. I think our next game is September 4th against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns after this to open 2021. So you can already go ahead and put the horns on upset alert for that one. Um,
Uh,
all of our Sunbelt friends and family out there who say they're the most underrated conference in America, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns and Billy Napier. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Colorado and the next game we have. And I'm excited to go into that. But first, Tran, a lot of news this week, just opt outs, NFL draft stuff, and just wanted to get your take on Brennan Eagles leaving, DeMar Van Overshown coming back, the whole bit. So I'll start with you on those notes.
so I know a lot of people think that Brendan Eagles should have come back and put up more tape. I get why he left, with a possible coaching change next year. What is he going to be? How is he going to be utilized within that new offense? Is it going to affect him down the line when he was putting up respectable numbers, for his target rate being one of the best in football focus? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And catch rate, reception rates, and quarterback rating when targeted by him. So he has all the tools, he has all the measurables to make a team to be drafted. If he puts up his crazy numbers that he put up when he was in high school, he's gonna be a fifth to sixth round draft pick. Honestly, I mean, some team will take a chance on him, and depending on what situation he's gonna fall in, he's gonna thrive if he's given the right opportunity. So I understand where he's coming from on doing that, weighing the options. It is a stacked wide receiver class once again. So that's the thing that would push him way to the back of the line, honestly, just from a production standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can show out, freaks can get picked. If he's
Yeah.
number one, or if he's top five in every single one of the categories, it's going to turn heads. So he's got to focus on it. He's got to be obsessive about his workouts to make sure that he produces his best one, whether he gets a combine invite or whether it's a pro day invite. So
I think that's well said, man. And one guy I forgot to mention the other day that was just this past year who had even less production than Brennan Eagles his last year or two was Donovan Peoples-Jones from Michigan,
mm-hmm.
who was a top 5 recruit when he came out of high school, did not live up to expectations, had very little productivity per se. Now, many of us will point to the quarterback issues, the Shea Patterson issues, on why he wasn't him, Nico Collins, Tariq Black, none of them were able to eat. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, I believe his last year at Michigan, I don't even think he topped out at 500 yards receiving. I think he was around 400 something yards in like 12 or 13 games. But he goes to the combine. It's a 40+ inch vertical, runs sub 4.5. I think he was like 4.42. He was still like 6'2", 6'3", and he got drafted by the Cleveland Browns.
And he's balling out
And
right now.
and he's balling right
Yeah,
now. Like, he's not going crazy, but
yeah.
he is a productive piece of their offense, and a lot of Cleveland fans and media are very impressed and wondering how they got him, right? And it's like, hey, how'd this guy fall to us? He's really good. He's fishing in the red zone. He's Johnny on the spot, like, good player. It's just better situation for him. And I said this in the last video. Some of these guys, for whatever reason, whether it's fit, coaching, what have you, light bulb comes on. Maybe it's just having football in your life 24/7 now versus juggling school and football ends up better for you. So I wish him the best of luck. Do I think he could have improved his draft stock by coming back? Absolutely, especially showing that he can be a go-to guy of improving that. I think there's something to be said for that. But I also see people starting to say that he's leaving guaranteed money on the table. I'm like, there is no guarantee that if you come back to school that your draft stock will improve. That's actually nonsense to me because it depends on your situation. You could get injured. You could not be featured again, right? And now you're a year older, SOL. So sometimes you got to make a move when you can. And if that move is being a 5th or 6th round pick, then so be it.
And a lot goes into also the quarterback play as well. So if Sam leaves, how comfortable is he with Casey Thompson or
Right.
Hudson Card? So I would think if he would have to get you guaranteed money, the first 2-day money, I think he'd have to put up 700 to 800 yards.
Yes.
With 10 touchdowns. Could he do that? Yes, he has all the talent in the world to do that. But is that realistic with breaking in a new quarterback and possibly a new offense? I mean, we saw what happened this year with a seasoned quarterback trying to learn a new offense. We struggled at times.
We did. And the other thing too is the numbers were never going to look great because we only played 9 games. And people have to factor in, like I had somebody else say in the comments last video about Brennan Eagles, well, of course his target rates or the QBR is high because he didn't have that many catches. What you guys have to understand is for them to record that metric, you have to qualify with a certain amount of targets and a certain amount of catches. So you have to, there's a minimum threshold. It's not like I threw the ball to you 3 times and you caught it twice. So therefore you're 67% of the time you catch the ball and you're like number 2 in the conference. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be targeted. I don't know what that threshold was, but Brennan Eagles did meet that threshold. So again, he had more yards in 9 games than Donovan Peoples-Jones had in 13 games. And he got drafted. So it's again, it comes down the testing and if they like you. Yep. Those are the 2 biggest things. If they like you and they're like, yo, I don't give a damn about what the tape says because I'm gonna work with this kid. He's gonna be a badass in my wide receiver room. They'll pick him. That's how the league works. It's always worked like that. Every year there's kids all over the place. And again, like Chuba Hubbard, if it's guaranteed to come back to school, why did it help or hurt Chuba Hubbard to come back to school this year?
Hurt. I think it hurt him a little bit.
I think it hurt him. And it may not hurt him as much as dropping a whole bunch of rounds, but I think Chuba Hubbard maybe goes around where DeAndre Swift went if he had come out last year. And this year, I think he's justifiably behind Najee Harris now and Travis Etienne. So at best, he's the 3rd back in this class. But I think Chuba Hubbard probably goes before Jonathan Taylor last year, right? Like, it's not always a guarantee. Like, if that's the case, then Justin Herbert would have been the number 1 pick last year. But Justin Herbert, who would have been QB1 in the Haskins, Daniel Jones, and who's the other quarterback? I'm forgetting the other was Haskins, Daniel Jones. Who went number 1? I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why.
What, 2 years ago?
Kyler Murray.
That was Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Kyler Murray. So at worst, Justin Herbert would have been number 2 because I think Kyler Murray would have gone with the Cliff Kingsbury thing.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray was going to go
He's
number 1.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert would have been right there. Somebody probably trades up to number 2. Now, Justin Herbert didn't fall crazy. He still went in the top 10 to the Chargers. It wasn't a crazy fall, but he ended up going behind Tua and behind Joe Burrow, right? So he did fall a little bit because before the season, Joe Burrow was. So that's what I'm saying. Like this, it's a stock, goes up and down. Some people get punished more. Some people rise up. They come back to school their senior year. They ball out like a Joe Burrow, go from being a 6th round pick to being a 1st round, number 1 overall. You never know. That's all I'm saying. There's this notion that you're guaranteed money is to come back to school. It's not true. And I think I think Brennan Eagles should have come back to school. Somebody said I sound like Brennan Eagles' agent in the last video. That cracked me up. But I think the brother should have come back to school. I'm just saying, like, it's not this whole like he's ruined his life and all this type of stuff. knock it off.
Nope.
Anyway, moving forward. Any thoughts on Overshown coming back? I'm excited.
You know I'm extremely excited. I mean, you and I have been texting back and forth. He's once you saw it click with him around the third or fourth game where he was just playing too fast, and he knew that he you saw him everywhere on the field, but he was just over pursuing. And once he started slowing it down, you saw how good this kid could be. And I meant to say young man, but he may be the replacement for Joseph Osai next year. I know Joseph Osai lines up on the line quite a bit. I don't know if they'll line him up. He might be standing up.
I think they'll leave Overshown right where he's at.
You think so?
Yeah, because that position, that's you got to be 250, screwing around with offensive tackles and stuff like that. Overshown is a will linebacker. So right where he's at, because the other thing that he gave us this year, Tran, was his pass coverage.
Mm-hmm.
He was especially red zone deflections. I think you leave him right where he's at. You just let him. He's only had 9 games at that position, right?
Yeah.
So let's give him 12 more. Yeah, let's give him 12 more. Get his reps up there. I don't want people keep moving people around, and now it's like, okay, now I'm going to learn this position. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So with Dorba getting a full year in, learning a little bit under Osai, I think our linebacker room is going to look it's not going to be as strong because Joseph Osai is that good of a player, but I think we're going to be a lot deeper than we were this year.
Yes.
With the day coming back, and is Mitchell
David Benda,
coming back?
Juwan Mitchell.
Yeah.
David Benda.
So David Benda.
A day.
Mm-hmm.
And all the linebackers we signed in 2021, and we signed a very versatile, diverse group. Now, a lot of these brothers are going to have to put some weight on, and they may not be ready physically to go day one, but the depth is there. Jalen Ford played a lot in the last game. Like, there's a lot of versatile pieces. Marcus Tillman is still coming off a year of ACL. That's another, like, the room went from being extremely
Marcus Tillman was the one that everyone was talking about preseason, correct?
Before his
ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they were talking about him, and then if they decide that he's going to be playing defense, Jatavion Sanders. I mean, I think he may not be just a beast the first day on campus, but he's going to be playing the first day on campus because you don't go out and get a 5-star. Yeah, you don't go out and get a 5-star, and he sits the bench. So I mean, he just solidifies our whole team, and I want to see that leadership of him step up a little bit because it's him. The eyes are on him. He's the go-to for that.
Are you talking about for Overshown?
Overshown, yep.
Okay, yeah. In terms, I agree with that. They are going to need some leadership on the defense coming into next year. I think between him, I look at a guy like a Josh Thompson. I look at a Keandre Coburn. They're going to be the ones that are going to be Coburn's pretty much already a vocal leader now. But Josh Thompson for the secondary is going to be the grown-up back there. We're hearing a lot of good things and encouraging things about Jalen Green and him asking the coaching step to be a safe to learn, hey, I want to be a little bit more versatile. I want to learn this position. I want to be able to help out here and provide whatever I can for the team. I think Chris Adam Morris had a really good season that a lot of people haven't talked about. I think that's somebody who can also now, with 9 starts under their belt, now getting a 10th start, will be somebody that can help guide our young folks behind the scenes. So they'll have leadership there. And then, even guys like a Juwan Mitchell that have now played a lot of football for us. So we're in good leadership hands, in my opinion. I do see that with all these guys. And like you said, that blend of the younger talent, like a Jatavion Sanders, like a Prince Dorba, who can come in and solidify. It may be by committee early to replace.
You didn't even mention Vernon Broughton and
Alfred Collins.
Yep, your guy. So I mean, we have a really good mesh of talent right now, and with one more year with these seniors that we have, it allows the young ones to grow up real fast. And you could live with the bumps and bruises because you have that talent surrounded them right now, so they could actually lessen that learning curve of the defense.
Yes.
Which that's what makes me happy about this, about him coming back specifically.
So let's transition that into the bowl game. We're facing a Colorado team out of the Pac-12, and that is 4-1. And Tran, you had a lot to say. I'm throwing you under the bus, but
I don't care.
Yeah, you had a lot to
Bring
say.
The smoke.
You had a lot to say about before the Pac-12 championship game. Oh snap! They have a championship game. Really?
They play it on PBS.
What are they playing on PBS? The Pac-12 still Power 5? Oh man, you brought it.
But yeah, then but Power 5 means Power 5 games.
And then after you talked all that trash, they went on what were they playing on? Fox. They went on Fox. It was USC versus Oregon, and it was a terrible game. So they played right into your hands. And now we get blessed with another Pac-12 team in the Colorado Buffaloes in the Alamo Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be getting into our prep here in all seriousness. Tran, what stands out to you when you initially take a look at this Colorado team? I think their only loss was to Utah, their most recent game on the 12th. But what do you see just with, in terms of your initial thoughts on Colorado?
Their running back. Their running back in Jerry Rice's son.
Man, Brendan Rice.
I'm excited to see him play because the two games that I saw, he, punt return, kickoff return, receiver. I mean, he's not their number one receiver, but you could see in a couple of years he's going to be the number one receiver. The quarterback, I think, is averaging 200 yards a game passing. So I mean, I think we could even live with him throwing for his season high 300, which we're breaking in a whole bunch of new components in the secondary. So we may see some defensive lapses because we have younger guys in there. So I want to see the younger guys play to their talent, play focused, go have fun. I mean, it's a bowl game. It's not, it's not a playoff game. This also is Sam's possible last game. So, I want to see us go out on top. Definitely 7-win season. A 7-3 season looks a lot better than a 6-4 season.
It looks a lot better than 6-4.
So, and especially since we didn't even get our last game, which we would have already had our 7th win. I'm convinced of that, beating Kansas pretty handedly. So, just go out there, play our game. I think talent-wise, we are better than them. I'm not going to say head and shoulders better than them because, to tell you the truth, I'm not completely familiar with this team, but I know that their power run team and their running back's really good.
He's excellent. I believe he's from the Dallas area, if I'm not mistaken, and he had a 300-yard rushing game against the former, Texas A&M head coach Kevin Sumlin.
Mm-hmm.
Now recently the University of Arizona head coach as well. But just it reminds me, I would say, heading into the Kansas State game, our run defense was so on point. Like we were, and that their strength kind of plays into our strength, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, Deuce Vaughn lit us up, right? And had a really, really nice day against us. Smaller type back. We're seeing a similar type of back. Now, this guy is 5'9", Deuce Vaughn's like 5'5", but those guys that kind of look like scat backs, but you have issues corralling them, and they run between the tackles. So now it's like, the jitterbug that slides through the hole all the time and can create some big runs. Also getting out on the perimeter as well. So kind of the immersion between those two. Our defense has to be a lot better than it was against Kansas State in that regard, just so you don't give a team like this false hope, and start letting them, get into something. I do think the bowl game Tom Herman thing is real. I mean, he's 3-0 since he's been here at Texas. He's been really a great bowl game coach just in general. And, you know, yet another Alamo Bowl, which we're very familiar with at this point, guys. And, you're playing on your home soil. You're playing, in front of a crowd. There'll be, we'll be there. I'm happy to say. Tran and I will be in attendance. So if you plan on going to the Alamo Bowl this year, and you see us, say hi, throw the horns up. You should be able to recognize Tran with or without the mask. Now, but again, in all seriousness, some of the things that they do with their quarterback run can be a little concerning for us because we have struggled with things like quarterback counter. If they go into empty, I just still think about like Max Duggan. I hope we're over stuff like that, but sometimes we'll take the wrong angle or pursue, miss a tackle. Like you said, new faces back there. This is their opportunity to show it right now. I want to see Jaron Thompson again. I'm excited. You mentioned this guy earlier. So Alfred Collins is going to be starting for Taquan Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited, but now they're talking about Vernon Brown's going to be taking Alfred Collins' snaps, right, in the rotation. I'm excited to see Vernon Brown. We haven't seen him play much at all this season. So this is another reason why I get excited about the bowl games. It's like, okay, this is somebody who should be a big part of our defensive line rotation next season. Let's get it going now. I'm excited to see what we have right now with the Jack. No, Jatavian Sanders can't play in this game, but whether it's Reese Laytow or if they let Dorba get some work in, if they move Jacoby Jones over there and we see Ojimo on one side and Jacoby Jones on one side, however they do it, I'm excited to see all those things. So on your end, let me ask you this, because these are all semantics for the game. The big story is this. Is this Sam Ehlinger's last football game at Texas?
Really? It's a big story? That's all my news feed was. It's like he said he has not made up his mind yet. It depends, honestly. I think if he loses, I don't think it's his last game. He's just not that guy who would want to go out on a losing note like that. If he wins, coaching change happens, I think he's gone. I think that it may hurt his stock if he has to learn another offense, his third offense, and it would be 5 years at that point. So there's a lot of moving pieces left to be said on that, but I really do think he's torn because he is. We're lucky to have someone who absolutely loves Texas and playing the most important position at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think beforehand the dark times of our quarterback play, and he's been a bright spot for our team. This year was kind of a down year for him, but without him, I don't know if we win 6 games this year. So if it is his last game, thank you, General George. What do you call him?
General Samuel George Ehlinger.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for your service. Mm-hmm.
Here's your Purple Heart. Go get drafted. If he does come back, he's gonna have every player has their haters, regardless. But he would be a pretty good transition guy for. He's a reliable quarterback for if there is a coaching change, for a transition for a coaching change. So,
well said. I think before this week, just with what Tom Herman had been saying, he made it kind of definitive. And I thought it was probably like 80-20 that Sam was going to go. Now I'm like 60-40. That I still think that, it's time for him to start that next chapter. And this is more from my view. And and moving
From
forward.
Agent Ngati's view.
I know. I know. But again, and this is something that Sam said after Sam Cosmi and Caden Stearns opted out. Everybody's situation is different. And Sam Ehlinger right now, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I don't know what his NFL. I know he wants to play at the NFL level. That's not the question.
Mhm.
But in terms of like what your dreams and things are, like what I found out from Caden Stearns, just watching him and seeing some of the things he's put out there, his number one dream in life was to be an NFL player. Sam Cosmi, once he got here and realized how good he could be, his goal
That was his
transitioned
dream.
to that's his dream,
Mhm.
right? And so now that I have the opportunity to hit on that, I'm gonna strike. We know for a fact Sam Ehlinger's dream was to be the quarterback at the University of Texas. So once you take that helmet off for the last time, that's it. And if you have this rare opportunity to come back and continue and try to write the path of that dream, because I'm sure his dream didn't just include being the starter, but winning football games and helping this team win championships. He has not fulfilled those things from his own purview.
Yeah.
And so I could definitely see that emotion there and that thought to say, you know what, I have unfinished business. I want to come back here. Now I stand by what I said before a few months ago. If Tom Herman is going to remain the head coach and the staff is the same and there's not turnover, there's definitely a higher chance that Sam Ehlinger would come back and play. Because at the end of the day, to me, it still seems like a weird marriage where they're going to come in together and they're going to leave together somehow. And so now I personally would like to see Tom Herman and Mike Yurcich with a quarterback with that skill set that they're really, really looking for to run this offense, just so we can evaluate it. I would like to see that. But I'm somebody with Sam's passion and love for Texas. I'm never going to say, no. But I'm going to also say this, and this applies to Cade Brewer and everybody else that's opted in, Denzel Okafor. You cannot come back and just expect that you're going to hold your position behind these young guys.
Mm-hmm.
You have to win your job. And that goes for Sam Ehlinger as well. You're going to have to compete with Hudson Card and Casey Thompson if you come back. That's that. And if you're the best man, which I hope you still are, no problem. But this isn't for you to come back and try to showcase you for the NFL. Like, we're trying to win. We have to win so we can save our jobs. And there's, as much as I love Sam Ehlinger, he has limitations. And so I wanted to address some of the people that have been very critical of him. I believe we've been fair and we've been critical and we've given him credit where credit is due. And not everything here is his fault by any means. But some people, are haters. Some people are just like, oh, you can kick rocks, blah, blah, blah. I do think a lot of the people that have gotten louder, though, are justified in their critique in terms of just looking at other quarterbacks around college football. When you watch the ball come out their hands and you watch the ball, not just the ball, but the decision making as well, it's been an issue. And so I don't think you're a hater if you call those things out or say, hey, there might be a better alternative to this. I don't think that makes you a quote unquote hater. I think you're a hater when you start going below the belt and making personal jabs and things of that sort. So I don't have an issue with people that say they want to move forward. But for the people that say that, you're opening next season, and I kind of teased this at the beginning, you're opening next season against Louisiana, and then the very next week is at Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And Louisiana might be ranked in the top 25 coming in here for the opening game. And I don't care if it's not Sam Ehlinger, whoever it is, that's going to be their very first start, right? Are you prepared to deal with growing pains, right? In terms of just jitters and all those type of things.
No, they are not. Let's be honest. Like, you lose one game like that, if you lose to a non-Power 5 team like that, there's going to be people calling for heads right away. I don't care if they're ranked in the top 25 or anything like that, but our fan base as well as I do. And that's a simple answer. No, they will not deal with the growing pains when it comes to losing to a non-Power 5 conference team.
So, I think I still am 60%. I think he declares in the NFL, but that number's regressing just with the uncertainty there. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If this is his last game, like you said, thank you. I really mean that, because he has come in, especially at his position, and left this place in a better place than which he found it. And he has been a joy to watch him grow, not just on the field, but off the field. He's up for all these academic awards. Very impressive student athlete, like the true definition of a student athlete, and somebody who's always represented Texas well. And I will always defend Sam, because he does get a lot of negative flack for his sophomore year saying Texas is back, and he's never really gotten a good spin after that. I think a lot of the national commentators like Herb Street and Joel Klatt really have a great appreciation for Sam, but fans and whatnot, when they think of Sam Ehlinger, unfortunately, they go straight to the Texas is back meme, right? And I think he's one of those people, like, if this is it, he'll be remembered statistically. He's up there with everybody.
Yep.
And he'll be remembered for his fondness and love of the game, especially amongst Texas fans. But unfortunately, you can't really remember him too much as a winner. And so if he wants to change that, and somebody texted me this the other day, if Sam Ehlinger comes back here, what is the pressure on him to win? Because he can't come back here and go 7-3. You see what I'm saying? Like, if he's coming back here in his 5th year, you have to win the Big 12.
Big 12 or bust.
You have to win the Big 12. Not when Oklahoma's just won 6 straight with 4 or 5 different quarterbacks. And they're going to look at us and say, Texas, y'all had the same dude for 5 years. For 5 years, it didn't win
once.
And you only made it to the game once. So I understand both sides of it. In this game, though, I will say this, and Sam alluded to this as well. I'm excited to see Bijan Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
When they asked Sam Ehlinger, what is he excited about? He said, I'm excited to see Bijan run. And damn it, I am too. I made a joke on Twitter, Tran. I said, and some of y'all didn't understand the joke, but damn it, I thought it was funny. I said, I don't care about OU's little ass 6 straight championships. I don't care about that. And I don't care about A&M almost making the playoffs. I just want to see my man Bijan spin in the Cheez-It Bowl. And now it's the Alamo Bowl, of course. And it was a joke. But in all seriousness, do you think this is the game where we really kind of showcase, all right, this is now going to be Bijan Robinson's offense built around him and his gifts, and then transition out from there? What are you thinking there?
Who knows? Who knows with this these offensive play calls? I would have thought that maybe Kansas would have been that where he has a 300-yard game himself. But going off of history, our bowl game history, we've led with run. We were very run heavy, even against Utah. Missouri was run heavy, and even against Georgia, we lined up and we smacked them in the face. So I'm gonna say yes, because that's the past 3 years we've done the same thing.
It's a good point. Keontae Ingram had a huge game against Utah last year. Huge game.
So good. You can't deny him the ball. He's just he has a second gear. I made a joke to you. I said, I want him to hit 150, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, then wrap him up in bubble wrap and keep him till next fall. So make sure he just doesn't get hurt. So I'm hoping this is, and that's what I'm really excited about. And we gotta be excited about it too, because Sam if Sam's touching on that, it might be tipping our hat that he's going to be featured for this. And to your point, going back to the previous point of is Sam coming back? I mean, maybe Bijan just being that good might be something that I want to play with this kid, one more year type of thing. So he's fantastic, and I want to see him. I want to see him in the pass game. I want to see him in the run game. I want to see. We've even seen him in the return game. I'd like to see him as a back person, but I think Roschon has solidified the second return man. He's electric, man, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see him live and in person.
Mm-hmm. He's starting to pick up some national steam too, and just with the explosive runs. I think the stat came out today. He's finished second amongst qualifiers of yards after contact over a certain threshold of carry. So, as the season's gone on, he's gotten more and more impressive.
Young too.
He is
so young.
He is. Stan Drayton and those guys in the room are doing a fantastic job with him and Roschon and our running back. So Stan's been impressive as usual.
One thing I am nervous about him is when he's running up the middle, and once he gets to the second level, is he'll try to cut over the middle, and he doesn't really protect the ball. He lifts it up like that. That's something that I'm only worried about him later on with a fumble or something like that, losing a fumble. But Stan Drayton's great. He's a great coach, and I'm pretty sure if I see it, he's going to see the same thing and say, hey, make sure you wrap that up. We'd rather have the ball with three less yards than you try to make a big play and you fumble the ball type of thing. So,
even Roschon, once Roschon's gotten healthy, look at how he's looked.
He's got some pop.
Yeah. And so, the drop off isn't crazy when he comes in the game. And so I just think that overall between those two. And then we also,
side note is I think we also got the steal of this recruiting cycle on Jonathan Brooks too. I think he is great. I know he's 3A player and he's big dog amongst all, but at least he gets to learn the position behind these two guys. So, and I think he's going to.
That's what excites me. Yeah. And so Jonathan Brooks, that's another one, right? Like they're going to be able to maximize his talent as well because of who he's being coached by. It's sometimes it's hard because you see some of his games and you look at some of the kids that he's breaking tackles up.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Be easy on the kid. Help him up afterwards, at least.
like that guy would be JV at high school I went to. No disrespect. But he's trash. And so it's like, but Jonathan Brooks.
I love it when you say no disrespect because you say the most disrespectful thing afterwards. He's trash.
Disclaimer. For okay, that was disrespectful. I shouldn't call high school trash. I apologize.
Yeah, you didn't point out exactly.
I didn't point out. No. And I apologize.
Comparative to Jonathan Brooks.
But in comparison to Jonathan Brooks, it's too big of a skill gap. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean. I look. The other thing I need to see in this Colorado game, Fran, if we could just be serious for a moment, who's replacing Brennan Eagles? Do we have an X receiver? Is Tariq Black still with us? Like, what are we doing here? Because are they going to start? I saw somebody else comment and say maybe we should consider moving Malcolm Epps back to receiver. I don't think that's a horrible idea considering the personnel right now. What are we doing out there? And because I know what I have with Jordan Whittington and Jake Smith if we ever decide to really showcase them and feature them. And I know what I have with Joshua Moore whenever y'all decide to throw it to him. But that X receiver spot, I'm curious to see who steps up in this bowl game. Hopefully it's somebody like Marcus Washington.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's somebody like that. That's what I'm hoping for. But
hey, he's coming back to didn't he win the All-American?
Yeah,
was it here It was Under Armour, so it was in
It was Under
Orlando.
Armour. It was
Okay,
Under
gotcha.
Armour. Yeah. But
But
no, we gotta. But that speaks to. So going back to the Brandon Eagles thing, if I come back here, will I be developed? Well, that question now flips to the people that are here, whether it's Marcus Washington, whether it's Troy Murray when he comes back, will they be developed? Will they be featured? Will they be showcased? Are we gonna continue doing the rotating receipt? Like, it's hard for me to get behind people complaining about the lack of numbers and productivity when I keep getting subbed out the game.
mhm.
It's hard for me to focus on that when I know Brennan Eagles should have gone for 200 to 250 yards against Iowa State, but he comes out the gate 2 monster catches and then he's not even in the game. And then he gets back in the game and he doesn't even get targeted. And it's like, yo, he is not like we were just throw it up. And then we go back and then it's not until what, the third quarter? And then they throw it up there and he mosses a guy or he gets a pass interference. And it's just like, why aren't like Lincoln Riley wouldn't hesitate to be getting the football to those type of people like that. And he damn sure wouldn't be subbing people out when they're going off like that. So
Yeah.
that's what I need to see improvement on from the staff and letting some of these kids cook, giving them an opportunity to cook, man. And I know that's been a frustration with a lot of these brothers in the room. Now, with all that being said, I think Texas comes out and I think they're going to have a fantastic showing on against Colorado. And I think they'll be able to hold the quarterback run game at bay. I think they'll be able to do some of the things that Utah didn't hold Jarek Broussard and limit him. They've done a good job. Anytime they've played some of these premier backs, the only person they didn't hold was Deuce. But you know, everybody else since the OU game, because Major got off on us, but since the OU game, Brees Hall they held in check, Chuba Hubbard they held in check. Jarek Broussard, just don't let him go crazy. If they hold him in check, I don't see anybody on the outside. I think Colorado even has Laviska Chenault's little brother out there too. There's a whole bunch of relatives. I don't care. They shouldn't beat you outside, even with some of these guys coming in and play. Jalen Green's still gonna be out there. Josh Thompson's still gonna be out there. I think BJ Foster's gonna play.
Should be there.
Yeah. So you have Jarek Thompson's already started a game. Like they're not woefully inexperienced. Chris Adamore is still out there. Like there's more experience back there than we're letting. Now I would like to see them rotate in some young guys, right? Some Keaton Crawfords and Marquise Caldwell's and letting them, let's see what they got. But overall, they should be able to hold the passing game for Colorado in check and even have an opportunity to get some turnovers. So I think they roll against our former Big 12 running mates, the Colorado Buffaloes. I think they win this game. I think they win in a blowout. I think it's going to be 38-17, Texas.
I was going to say 35-21. So I think we're going to beat the spread. I agree with you. It doesn't seem like Sam Neuer really takes care of the ball that well. I mean, he has 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Like I said, 200 yards. He's averaging 200 yards a game, with his highest being 260-ish yards. If we can keep him around his highest or a little bit more, I feel very comfortable as long as we slow down the run. So,
yep.
And I think that's our strength. Our front seven is our strength. I know we don't have Joseph Osai there, but I'm not going to bet against Coburn and his running mates at all.
Y'all better beat this Pac-12 team, or else Tran will never hear the end of it.
I don't care. I don't care. You're still the Pac-12.
So
how are you gonna have Oregon? Like, what were they, 3-2 as your Pac-12 championship?
And they won the championship. Oh, yikes! It's funny you say this because I want to end the video kind of here. Like, some of you guys have to understand that. Like, I understand some people live in a Texas bubble. But if you look around college football, there's a lot of miserable fans. Like, if you saw USC Twitter after the Pac-12 championship game, or some of the message boards and some, like, copy and paste from us after we lost to Iowa State, right? Like, I think the only thing unique to us is like some of the social issues in eyes of Texas. But in terms of just being disappointed, Go look at Auburn message boards. Go look at USC message board. Like just craziness after Clay Helton blew that game. So, hey, look at the meltdown that occurred with OU fans yesterday because Kamar Wheaton decided to commit to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bagman coming in correct, baby.
Bagman season, baby.
I love how it's either Texas or Oklahoma. His whole recruiting process, and all of a sudden,
Alabama.
I
think LSU was in there too, but no, we're saying everything. These are jokes. Yeah. I don't think anybody got any money. But with that being said, Texas needs to step. Like we lost. Y'all saw the tweet. JoJo Earl and Kamar Wheaton and the Brock Myers and Jalen Monroe, like all these dudes in Blackshear went to Alabama out of Texas. They were all, I believe, number 1 or number 2 at their respective positions within the state of Texas. So that tells me that we need to step up our bagman game, or somebody needs to be let go behind the scenes, because I don't know what the price is for the players anymore. If it used to be $150 and now it's $275, but the rates on our card still say $150. And brothers are getting, again, these Christmas
hit refresh
Eve
on
jokes.
hit refresh on your Excel file.
He costs how much now? We need to get some new bagmen, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Everybody, like,
stop writing checks and just send Venmo. Come on now. Get up with the times. Let's go.
Oh man, we just joking, y'all. But in all seriousness, OU fans is gonna be okay. I know Alabama. They got Jason McClellan and Kamar Wheaton now. Trust me, it hurts us too. It hurts everybody. So, I haven't seen a program roll the way Alabama's rolling, like for the length of time. And somebody said it best on Twitter: what Bama wants, Bama gets. If they want you, they're gonna figure out a way to get you. I mean, they go to California and take the best quarterback, right? Like, it doesn't matter. They go to Florida and get the best receiver. They go West Coast, wherever we need to go to get we go to Georgia and get a tackle. It doesn't matter. They want you. So it's we talk about closing down our borders, but they doing the same thing to USC over there. They're doing the same thing to Florida over there. Doing the same thing to Georgia. It's the machine that is Alabama at this point. I don't know how you stop that juggernaut unless you try to figure out how to expose their bag, man. I don't know what else you can do. They're undefeated out there right now. It's crazy. Anyway, Tran, we did our predictions. Happy holidays, everybody.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy, those of you who are going out Christmas Eve with your families, be safe. If you're staying at home, or at a distance, be safe. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, everybody out there. Happy holidays. Tran, I'm very, very blessed to be able to sit here with my friend, one of my best friends in the world, and just talk ball with you. So
much fun.
It is. And Tran, where will we be next Tuesday?
In my old stomping ground, San Antonio, 210.
210 gang, come say what's up to us when we out there on Tuesday. We'll see y'all for the bowl game. But remember, horns always up.